Greetings from Naradevi in Kathmandu, Nepal. This is the oldest neighborhood in Kathmandu. It goes back about 1400 years. It's inhabited by Newars, who are the indigenous people of Nepal. They migrated from India, North India, maybe 3,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago. And so I have the good fortune of living in a Newari community. And it is really very special living here because the people are so warm and sublime. When they say, hello, how are you? They really mean it. It's not a New York, hello, how are you? It's not a formality. It's a genuine, heartfelt, warm-heartedness that they express when they speak to you. And it's sort of like living in one big family, not just for me, but for everybody in the neighborhood, and it's a big neighborhood. I just arrived from America a couple of weeks ago, and when I went out the first few days, so many people came up to me and just said, hey, where you been? Haven't seen you in a while. And it really lifted my heart, the way they said it and the way they expressed themselves and asking about my health, my family. And that's just the way they are. They're that way amongst themselves and with myself as a foreigner living amongst them. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about Guru Yoga. It's a practice that I do every morning, and many, many people do every morning. It's a tradition in all formal Buddhist practice and Hindu practice as well, if you're living in a monastic situation. Excuse me. Basically, what is Guru Yoga? Guru Yoga is not a physical exercise like we might imagine. The term applies to a dedication that we make to our gurus, whether they be gurus that we actually receive personal instructions from. They would be the foremost on the list and highest placed. Then there would be the gurus that we have followed in their writings, which is very, very important. We're influenced a lot by what we've read, and so if those teachings that we've read that have stayed with us, we can consider those who have written them are gurus too. And then there's the gurus who are our gurus in hearing, those who we heard, lectures we have attended that have been profound influence in our lives and may continue to be as we attend teachings, public teachings when they're available. In addition, then, there are, of course, the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, and all teachers that have actually created the foundation of all the teachings we receive. So in the morning, I begin with a prayer to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha, and all the yakshas and ghosts and spirits and gods and goddesses, and I offer my prayers to them. Then I offer prayers to the Dharma and pay my respects to the Dharma, that is, the teachings of all the great teachers. And then I offer prayers to the Sangha, which is the assembly of Dharma practitioners that have been practicing the Dharma over currently and in the past. You know, the Sangha of disciples of the Buddha and his teachings. So I make offerings of my body, speech, and mind to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. And then I move on to particular teachers. These would include the very special personal teachers that I feel connected to, and Buddhas that I feel connected to, and goddesses. So for me, the second in line after the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha would be the Buddha Medicine Master Buddha. And I offer a prayer to Medicine Master Buddha. And then I offer a prayer to Ratnasambhava, which is the Buddha of the southern direction. And then I offer a prayer to Then I offer a prayer to Maitreya in the Tushita heaven, future Buddha. Then I offer a prayer to Manjusri, the Bodhisattva of great wisdom. Next comes a prayer to Vajrapani, the supreme protector of the Dharma and of those who practice it. Next I offer a prayer to Vijaya, which is a goddess Tushik Rinpoche associates himself with. And as I am one of his disciples, I do too. Then I offer a prayer to White Tara. And then I offer a prayer to Amitayas, the Buddha of the Western Paradise. Next is Avalokiteshvara, the thousand-armed, thousand-eyed goddess of great compassion, who looks after the welfare of beings in the world. And then I offer a prayer to my own omniscience through practicing the path of enlightenment. I pray that enlightenment grows and flourishes I pray that enlightenment arises within me, that I obtain omniscience, that I realize emptiness, and that these three, omniscience and enlightenment and emptiness, arise within me, grow and flourish, and that all three arise in others as well and grows and flourishes in all living beings. Then I offer a prayer to my root guru, Master Hsuan Hua, and I pray that I always behave in a way that supports and represents the teachings that I have received from him. and that I do not falter in my practice of the Dharma and be a burden on myself and my teacher. And then I make a prayer to that Nagarjuna and Santarakshita, the two great masters of the middle way, that their teachings, that they live through their teachings continuously and that their teachings never fade, and that the great Dharma banner always flies. Then I make a prayer for the welfare of all the Dharma supporters, that make offerings to the monasteries and monks and nuns so that they can practice the Dharma. I pray for their increased wealth and prosperity. Because after all, without monasteries and monks and nuns, we would not have the support that we have. And so in our society, this requires some financial support. So I pray that those who are offering this support also benefit and are prosperous. And so I go through the same prayer with one small change a second time. And change is of the guru that I pray specifically to as representing a personal connection with, and that would be Tushik Rinpoche. And I do an aspirational prayer for his long life and that he continues to appear in the world again and again, benefiting living beings. Very similar to the prayer I offered previously to my root guru, Master Hsuan Hua. And lastly, I go through the whole prayer again, this time with a special prayer to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who I consider also one of my gurus, although I haven't received any personal well, I have actually. I've received teachings from the Dalai Lama that I consider personal, in that, but they were in the large assemblies. And although this is the case, I feel very connected as if he's one of my personal teachers. But unlike His Holiness Tushik Rinpoche or Master Hsuan Hua, I have not spent personal time with him. So I make prayers to the Dalai Lama as one of my teachers who I've received enormous hours and hours of instructions through reading and listening, and consider one of my teachers. And I pray for his long life and that he continues to teach the Dharma life after life, and that his life now is long, and that he has good health and he continues to turn the Dharma wheel. And so I go through these prayers, and I conclude with reciting a mantra to each of the gurus that I kind of created by myself. Om Ahung Master Hsuan Hua Hung Hung, which I recite 108 times. Then I recite Om Ahung Nawan Tenzin Choki Loda Rabsul Hung Hung, which is a prayer to Tushik Rinpoche. Then I recite Oma Guru Vakindra Dharmati Siddhi Hung Hung, which is a prayer to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And so going through these prayers takes about 45 minutes to an hour. And I find in Guru Yoga that it's a good way to set the day and set one's practice. When I first wake up in the morning, I'm not in the mood for something as intense as my mantra recitation or breath mastery or pranayama. I need something that associates with my mind with all the great teachers that I've had and the great teachings I've received, and reminds me of the presence of these teachings in my mind and the presence of these teachers in my mind, and of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and gods and dakinis and Sangha members. And so I mix my mind with all of this first thing in the morning, and it creates a foundation for whatever practice I do throughout the day, all the way to the last practice in the evening. And I find in Guru Yoga the best foundational practice possible. And I'm not alone in this. It's common practice in all Buddhist monasteries and even in Hindu temples as well. So I encourage everyone to follow their heart and be thankful for the teachings they received and the teachers they've known, and to continue on the path and include a little Guru Yoga in your practice. Amitofo. Have a nice day, wherever you may be.